Once again, it is a pleasure to have you join us on the program. Engage us on our social media platforms. We are broadcasting on terrestrial as well as on YouTube and our website. We thank you for joining us. The African Climate Summit at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, KICC, here in Nairobi, has landed Kenya into the biggest beneficiary from Western countries after she is now set to benefit from 600 billion shillings, which will go into various climate change-related investments in the African continent. President Dr. William Ruto also revealed that the Global Center for Adaptation's Africa Regional Office will be moved to Nairobi. This as the summit entered its second day on Tuesday, with more than 20 heads of state giving remarks on effects of climate change across Africa. Mike Kagwango begins our broadcast tonight with that report.
The African Climate Summit 2023 in Nairobi has served the country the right menu from what the Western countries termed as a big boast of sustainable development goals.
A warm round of applause. That is a milestone, a huge milestone that
with
has
Africa
now
set to benefit from 600 billion shillings, which will go into various climate change-related investments. COP28 President DSignet Sultan Al Jaber cautioned that only countries with clear and long-term transition plans, as well as investment plans, stand a chance to benefit from the funding. The money, he said, will fund clean energy in Africa.
We also need early pledges for the Loss and Damage Fund to help vulnerable countries recover from severe climate impacts that they already are exploring.
Al Jaber also urged African heads of state, including President William Ruto, to update their basic energy infrastructure and make development procedures clearer in order to reduce the bureaucracy that has been preventing the continent from opening its market.
And the multilateral, public and private sectors need to mesh together and work as true partners to accelerate the delivery of practical solutions and real impactful projects on the ground.
President William Ruto stated that it is time for Kenya and Africa to search inside for solutions to the issues brought on by climate change. He said Global Center for Adaptation, a worldwide organization which will now have its headquarters in Nairobi, will act as a solutions broker to quicken support and action for adaptation solutions.
And it is true, we need to have a conversation about Africa's potential. Why? Because we have been profiled negatively. The continent of disease, war, poverty. But we are stepping forward to say, look here, Africa is the continent with 60% of the world's renewable energy assets.
Currently, the African Regional Office of GCA is located in the headquarters of the African Development Bank in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. As a result of climate change, President William Ruto said many African nations are becoming increasingly indebted as the burden of the climate catastrophe falls mostly on the countries of the continent.
If there was a company for collecting garbage globally, and I'm talking about carbon garbage, Africa would have the largest shares because we have the largest lungs. The only problem is that those who produce the garbage refuse to pay their bills.
The president stated that in order to combat the effects of climate change, Kenya has been compelled to shift resources intended for economic growth. The summit is expected to draw the curtains on Wednesday, ushering in Africa Climate Week on Thursday and Friday. Mike Kagwango, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that. Financing